Hello there guys and welcome back to Blues Fans TV for finally another Premier League preview as Chelsea are about to have the first game back after this way too long of a break. Well, I mean there was good reason for this break taking place, but it just felt way too long. It felt like an absolute eternity. But finally we're back. As on Sunday, Chelsea will take on Aston Villa at Villa Park at 4:15 UK time, and I'm so unbelievably excited. And if you are as well, please be sure to subscribe to Blues Fans TV. If you're new here, drop a like on this video and also leave me your thoughts ahead of the game down in the comments section below, your predicted lineups and also your score predictions. But like I said, most importantly, please do subscribe. We're on our way to 100,000 subscribers and every subscriber helps. So if you're new here, please do subscribe. That'd be absolutely, massively appreciated. But like I said, finally we're back. I mean, I felt like the last few weeks or just recently there's been so much focus on next season for Chelsea with the signing of Timo Werner, with initially of course being linked to him, now being linked to Kai Havertz and even Ben Chilwell. I feel like a little bit of focus was lost on this season, and let's not forget that we're in a really tough fight to make the Champions League for next season, and that will also dictate in some way, shape or form which kind of players we will get. So let's focus on that now. Let's focus on the remaining 9 Premier League games, and let's focus on our first game back. Let's not underestimate Aston Villa. Let's not underestimate them. And even though the goal line technology and VAR fuck up only really cost Sheffield United, Villa, in my opinion, were the better team in that game. But let's talk about them later and focus on Chelsea for now. And what I can say is not just going into this game, but going into the remaining 9 fixtures, plus the FA Cup, of course, and then the Champions League at a later point. I want us to be on the front foot, right? Let's take these remaining 9 games by the scruff of the neck, and as fans, let's be positive. I believe that we can be better defensively now, and I believe that we can also be better at taking our chances, which arguably was our biggest problem before the break. And also, we finally don't have so many injuries anymore, and thank the bloody Lord we don't have so many injuries anymore. But there is a little bit of injury news, which Frank Lampard mentioned in his press conference today. Fikayo Tomori does have a muscle injury and is out for roughly 10 days or so. And of course, then will be out for the game on Sunday against Aston Villa. Hudson-Odoi is physically fit after recovering from a minor injury more, earlier to when the team came back into training. So he is physically fit, but is not yet match fit, and by the sounds of it, won't be involved on Sunday. But everyone else is fit, and that includes Christian Pulisic, Tammy Abraham, N'Golo Kante, and Ruben Loftus-Cheek. I mean, he's like a new bloody signing. You all know how much I love Ruben Loftus-Cheek, and a lot of people that say, oh, it doesn't make that much of a difference, he's not that good and all that. Just watch a few videos from last season. He was, after Hazard, our best player, and he didn't even play half of the games. He's so good. He's so good, and I'm not saying he will be exactly as good now straight away because he's been out for over a year, obviously, so, that's tough. But he can get there and he can get even better, and I'm so excited. I'm so excited to see him back. And on him, so Loftus-Cheek, Lampard actually said in his press conference that he is looking fit, taking part in our training games was good, and he did well in those. And also said that he worked really hard to get fit after such a long injury, but also said that we didn't have enough preseason games for him to really, be like, well, he has to be match fit wise and stuff, so he will have to be managed a little bit and can't exactly start to play every single game. But Lampard did say that he is looking good for this game, which is super exciting for me. And by the way, those 3 training games that did take place was an in-house game, between just 2 11s of Chelsea versus each other. Then a 1-0 over Reading with Pedro scoring, and a 7-1 win over QPR most recently, in which Ruben Loftus-Cheek and Billy Gilmour both scored twice, with Mason Mount, Olivier Giroud and Willian getting the other 3 goals. But now, let's talk about how I personally think we should line up, and also how I think Frank Lampard will line up against Aston Villa on Sunday. And mind you, we're now allowed to make 5 substitutions, so that, in my opinion, makes a big difference. The boss himself also said so, deeming it a very big positive, especially in this situation, but even said that he would like to keep this going after this period, but certainly says it will have a tactical impact on the game as well. But now, actually getting to the lineups, but keep in mind that Jorginho is suspended for this upcoming game now. After picking up too many yellow cards before the break, he's still suspended now, so that counts. So first of all, I'm going to show you on this side the lineup that I personally would go for, and then over there you will see what I think Frank Lampard will pick. And to be honest, at the moment it's really difficult to pick everything. My favorite formation is the 4-3-3, so that's what I'm going to go for. I will have Kepa in goal. I don't think, unless he was really bad in training, I don't think there should be any discussion about Willy Caballero. The 2 centre-backs, in my opinion, should be Antonio Rudiger and Andreas Christensen. Of course, Fikayo Tomori is out injured, like I said already. And Zuma is there, but I will touch on later why I think in this case Christensen is a little bit better suited than Kurt Zuma. At right back, I would have personally Reece James, and then at left back, I would actually have Aspie. I like Emerson, so if Emerson has done really well in training, maybe he should play. Same goes for Alonso, even though I don't like Alonso that much. But I understand why both for Lampard and also for me, Asby is just really, really important. You know, this is a really tough period. You know, it's not going to be easy to get straight back into things. He is still the captain, right? So he is an important figure to be on the pitch to push everyone. We don't have the crowd around us to give you a push. So you need your leaders on the pitch. Jorginho is suspended already, so I'm 100% certain that Azpilicueta will start. Whether he will start left back or right back, I don't know. But for me personally, it should be Reece James on the right and Azpilicueta on the left. And I come into midfield. Jorginho is suspended, so I would go with Billy Gilmour in that position again. He was so good in those 2 games before the break that I think he deserves to play. I honestly think he deserves to play in that position again. I think he could be absolutely remarkable. And the 2 spots ahead of him, the 2 number 8s, if you will, on the right, I would have Mateo Kovacic. You can't not play Mateo Kovacic, by far our best player so far this season. And on the left, I would have Ruben Loftus-Cheek. I would start him. And I know you're saying, where on earth is Kante? I know. Now, first of all, I don't think Kante is 100% match fit yet, because obviously, as was widely reported, he didn't join training initially with the rest of the group because of his fears of the current situation. He did come back eventually, which of course is great, but I don't think he was 100%. He is probably 100% match fit just yet. And people say, but he wasn't 100% match fit when he played in the Super Cup against Liverpool and was one of our best players. Yes, but then he was also injured for almost the entirety of the rest of the season. So, you know, it is a bit tricky. I want to be little bit more careful with N'Golo Kante. I don't want to play him every game if we're not sure whether he will get over his injuries now. But now getting to the wingers, and on the left, I would personally have Christian Pulisic. On the right, I would have Willian. Now, Hudson-Odoi is, of course, out injured, so he can't play on either side. You could, of course, talk about having Mason Mount on either wing. I don't think that should be an option when we actually have proper wingers available. And also about Pedro, I just prefer Willian myself, and I will also touch on something later on, which, you know, has a bit of an impact here as well. And up front, for me personally, it has to be Tammy Abraham. Of course, you could argue Olivier Giroud, but I would personally definitely go for Tammy Abraham. It shouldn't even be a debate. So, you know, this is my team. You can see it over here. I went through it in a little bit more detail. And of course, it is really difficult to predict Frank Lampard's team. It is really difficult, especially in some areas, because we just don't know how everyone has performed in training. But I think he will go with this one. You know, no individual steps now, just with this one. A 4-2-3-1 formation, still kept and goal. A centre-back partnership of Rudiger and Zuma, because that's what he went for in the last 2 games before the break against Liverpool and Everton. Reece James, I think, will stay at right back. And Aspi, I think, will stay at left back. A little bit like in my formation, but I don't know about that one. I think he will play Aspi. And I think it would be crazy not to play Reece James, so you have to play Aspi on the left. Because I think not playing James is just stupid. So why would you play Alonso? Why would you play Emerson when you have James? So in my opinion, Aspi has to play over on the left. I don't know whether Lampard will agree, but that's, I think, what you have to do, and I just can't see him not starting Aspi in all honesty. The 2 holding midfielders, the double pivot will almost certainly be N'Golo Kante and Mateo Kovacic in my opinion, and then at number 10, probably Mason Mount, and then on the left, I have Ruben Loftus-Cheek here, which is actually what he played the majority of the time in our training games, which a lot of you might not have known, and a lot of you might not have expected, neither have I. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if he does actually play there, and then there should be a lot of interchanging between Mount and Ruben. Sometimes Mount is in the left and Ruben in the middle, and then they flip around, and that all would make sense. And then on the right, personally, I think Frank Lampard is going to pick Christian Pulisic. I think he's going to pick Christian Pulisic over Willian and Pedro. And of course, like I said, Hudson-Odoi is still out there up front. I still hope he's going to pick Tammy. And I also think Lampard is going to pick Tammy. And quickly, just to mention this Willian and Pedro situation, which we actually haven't mentioned on this channel so far, they both haven't even signed an extension because, of course, both their contracts run out at the end of this season, and their contracts therefore run out at the end of June. It is almost the end of June, right? So if we want them to play the remaining 9 games, they have to sign a contract extension until the end of July, at least. Unless we want them in the Champions League as well, then they have to sign a contract extension until August, right? So this is why I feel like maybe he won't start either of them. Even though I personally would start William, I don't think there's a chance he might not start either of them. Even though Lampard in the press conference said he would have sympathy for the players, that they want to make the best decision for them. And he said if we do want to extend with players, then it's because we want them to stay. And we have conversations going on with both of them because we want to finish the season with the players that we started with. But there's nothing signed yet. So neither of them are actually confirmed to even finish this season with us. And I think this might be a bit of an indicator that he might not play them. Pedro has apparently already agreed to join Roma in the summer. and he of course doesn't really want to get injured, and the more games he plays here, the more risky it is for him to pick up an injury. And then because he hasn't actually signed it with Roma yet, just agreed it, you know, they might not want him anymore, because why would you sign an injured 33-year-old, 32-year-old? I can't remember how old Pedro exactly is. So, you know, that's that situation. But going back to a bit more of the game and the system and the lineup, I don't think our system will have changed much from before the break, if at all. Still a fairly high press, using the fullbacks a lot to create width and actually cross the ball a lot. Hopefully Tammy will have improved at getting on the end of them. And I just hope we'll get more people into the box in general now, and our build-up play will be quicker. That's what I hope for, hence why I went with the team that I went for in my personal lineup, with Billy, Ruben and Mateo Kovacic in midfield, because I think what midfield allows you better and quicker passing than those three, other than possibly Jorginho, but he's suspended anyway. And now getting into Aston Villa, and let's talk about them quickly. Now, of course, they already played a game. Like I said, that game finished 0-0, and I mentioned that not given goal by VAR and the goal line technology already. But other than that, like I also already mentioned, Villa were the better team. Less than 45% of the ball, fair enough. Less of the ball with 45%, I mean, sorry. But 14 shots overall compared to just 5 by the Blades, and 6 on targets compared to just 1 by Sheffield United. They lined up in a 4-3-3 in that game, but they also have used the 4-2-3-1 and the 3-4-3 this season. But did actually go with the 4-3-3 as well when we beat them 2-1 at Stamford Bridge back in December. And they're a good team. You know, they're a good team. Let's not underestimate Villa just because, you know, the table says they're quite far down in 19th, so in the relegation zone, even though they're only 1 point of, you know, safety, I guess. Just because they're there doesn't mean they're a bad team by any means. Trust me, they're not a bad team, especially now that John McGinn is back from injury. They're a very direct team as well, usually with quick forward moving passes, both long balls over the top and also slightly shorter forward ground passes. And of course, alongside McGinn, Jack Grealish is their biggest danger man, and who we need to look out for the most, in my opinion. But also their long balls. You know, their long balls against Sheffield. I watched that game. Sorry, Sheffield United, apparently. I'm not meant to call them just Sheffield. You know, they kind of struggle with them at times. They really did. So we really need good positioning by our centre-backs for those long balls, which is why I personally picked Andreas Christensen over Kurt Zuma, because I believe Christensen positioning and attacking defending is much better than Zuma's, even though Zuma possibly has a bit more pace in his recovery when he does make a little bit of a mistake. But overall then, my score prediction is going to be a 3-1 win for the Chelsea. Don't ask me why. It's just my gut feeling, in all honesty. I still don't think we'll keep a clean sheet. Hence why 3-1 rather than 3-0. But I'm confident that we'll be better at finishing our chances, and that should give us a fairly comfortable win. I hope I'm right. I'm super excited for it. I'm super excited for it. I do hope that all of you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said in the beginning, please be sure to subscribe to Blues Fans TV if you haven't already. Pardon me. Drop a like on this video if you enjoyed it. Drop a like if you're excited for Chelsea to return and excited for our content to return. There will be watch-alongs. There will be some sort of fan cams as much as we can, you know, of course, provided during lockdown in the UK. So, you know, we will have all sorts of content. Subscribe for that if you're new, and leave me all of your thoughts ahead of the game in the comment section below. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Up to Chelsea. Super excited for the game, and I'll see you when I see you.